any of y'all guys out there had the same issue, just give me a shout out. Let me know what y'all done. I feel like I need to order a whole new cap or a ring. Anyways, all these sockets are my specialty sockets, like my O2 sensor socket and all these swivel ones that were $33 a piece that I bought years ago. I'm gonna get another one of these stands to put them on so I don't lose them. I'm starting to build up a collection of sockets. Oh, what else was I gonna talk about? I need an M7 dial piece. The inside of this thing broke on me, so my awesome little impact is messed up. I need to drill out the top of this since I welded it up. Here's one of my faux rust panels that I painted. It's just first coat of thing, just one coat of clear. Typically I'd go back and sand it down, clear it either flat or gloss to match my truck. We'll just see what I decide I want to do. Probably go flat. Oh, what else to talk about here? Oh, this whole debate on our primer servicers. I think, to give fairness, some of the failures that I have seen are due to plowing it on. I've not agreed with some of my coworkers in the past on some of their methods to get a car done, get it out in collision work and in restoration work. The two industries are two separate entities. They do similar things, but they are not the same. The products are not the same. The mindset is not the same. You're working on something that somebody's going to keep forever versus something somebody's liable to trade off in 2 to 4 years and you have no liability. That sounds harsh, but at the end of the day, that is the honest truth. Collision is not restoration, and restoration is not collision. The primer surfacer, the polyester fillers, I disagree 100%. The newer model, the G2 primer surfacer filler, in my opinion, it is thinner than the slick sand. But I think they did that on purpose because they were seeing the failure of the slick sand, going on too thick. The failure was not evident right away. It took months or sometimes years for it to start to show its flaws and shrink up and have issues. And I do believe 100% it's because it was going on too thick. If it was properly millaged and sprayed on correctly over a DTM primer that's already pre-cured within its window to still get a mechanical bond and a chemical bond, it will be fine. But the newer model, I think I don't know how they thinned it out, but anyways, I think they made it so when you spray it, it looks like it's going on just as thick, but has less of a millage. Because the less you put on, the more flexible it can be, and that's what you want with metal. You want it to expand and contract at the same rate as the metal. Same goes for body fillers. That's why you don't use too much hardener or too little hardener in anything you do. It needs to be 100% precise how you did it and how to repeat that repeatability on every car you work on so that it will never bite you in the butt and it'll never come back to you. I like the saying, if it has a smell, then it ain't cured. If you can take sandpaper to it lightly sand it, put your nose to it, and smell it, it's not cured. Like he said, concrete feels cured, but it takes years to cure, and some of these products are the same way. Doing an unfair test of showing your product in a cup and how it shrinks up is just showing this is what it happens if you put too much. To do the fair test, you need to get a piece of plastic or something, spray it on there at the correct millage, and watch it cross-link and cure up. I guarantee you that the epoxy primer will not shrink up when sprayed at the correct millage. And it is one of the hardest surfaces, the best bonding and hardest surfaces you can get when it's fully cured. Now, the feather fill or whatever, the slick sand, it will act like it is cross-linked and cured faster. It will feel like it. You will think this is a harder product than epoxy because it's like a brick. At that thickness, you are correct. Epoxy will never get that hard at that thickness. It's impossible. But at its correct millage, it will. Just like the paint you used to use on painting pistols or stuff like that. I mean, you're talking microns of millage. And if you go over that, it doesn't stay hard. It'll be gooey. It'll flake off. But if you get the right millage, it is, I mean, it's harder than concrete when it cures. Which you must wait for it to cure, obviously. What else? I should have made a list to think about. I'm waiting on the sun to come out to go finish the job real quick. I'm not trying to argue with any of you guys. I'm just telling you the experience that I've seen and had. Hey, Turbo. What you doing, buddy? In the shops with those products. I've had paint companies tell me, you can put the slick sand or polyester or the feather fill, either or, directly on the metal. It's fine. I've seen guys do it for years. It's no different than the mud, because polyester mud, you're putting it directly on the metal in a collision industry, and you have no issue with it. So this is the same way. I've seen people do it, and I've done it myself because I was told to do it. And I disagreed and said it needs an epoxy underneath it. Self-etch, that's for the collision industry. That is just a fast-paced drying application that etches the metal really quick for you so that you know your other primer is going to stick. Epoxy is way better in all means. It actually blocks out water instead of absorbing it. And you want products all throughout from the bottom to the top to have a non-absorption rate. That is what will create a car that has a paint job that will last for years. Anything, dang, my brain's going all over the place. It's stuff I got to get done. I apologize. I'm not saying that it can't be done right and that it probably will not fail spraying. Seeing how you've been putting it on over an epoxy primer that's fairly cured, I personally would have sanded it at least with a scuff pad, just to open the pores up to break that surface tension before I put the slick sand on there. But that's just my preference. They say chemically you don't need to, but they also said that I could put it on direct metal, you know, which is baloney. I've blown it off in sheets, and it's just one of those things that's, I don't know if they were just trying to sell a product and just get it out of their shelf because they've had it for years or what. But the failure we've seen come back on some cars years later, it was obvious that it was the slick sand. It may be due to it not being spread over the whole vehicle at once, just doing spots here and there and feathering them into each other, or just doing one spot in general and not doing the whole vehicle with that product. That may, I mean, if it's kind of like concrete being laid on a slab. If you lay it on jagged rocks and it starts to cure, it's going to crack. If you lay it on a big bed of sand, it'll sink all at the same rate and it won't crack. Well, that may be the same with this product. As long as you don't burn through and you don't have different layers built on each other, it's going to all shrink at the same rate and it won't crack or show bad spots. But my battery's dying, so I'm going to end this. Alright guys, got any comments, just let me know. Thanks, bye.